Activists are taking to the streets in Minneapolis after police body cam footage was released of 31-year-old African-American Thurman Blevins being shot by police. Activists blocked the light rail tracks there and gathered around a government center building in downtown Minneapolis. Officers had asked Blevins to stop running. He pleaded with police officers not to shoot him as he fled. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, body camera footage was released of a police encounter with an armed suspect and a hostage, both of whom died in the incident. The video from June 16 shows Guillermo Perez approaching police with a knife after stabbing his girlfriend. Perez grabbed a hostage to protect himself from police bullets. Both he and the hostage died from subsequent gunshots. For more on this, let's welcome Matthew Fogg, retired Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal. Thank you for being here.
Hey, good to be with you.
Read the situation in Minneapolis for us. Do you think that this has the long-term potential to go on like the Black Lives Matter thing in St. Louis? Or are we growing numb to these kinds of episodes?
Right. I don't know if you say we're growing numb, because in both of these situations, even the L.A. and the Minneapolis situation, both people had weapons. Most suspects had weapons in their hands. The thing that was bringing Black lives around was the fact that law enforcement officers were shooting young black men, no weapon involved, just simply saying, I felt threatened for my life. I've been 32 years in law enforcement. I can tell you, man, that, when there's a threat, it's no doubt in my mind when I feel a threat. If you don't have something, it's not really a threat. I mean, what may be going on in my head, that's a different thing.
Well, you have a feel for the street that way. Right. How can police be trained, perhaps trained differently, to de-escalate rather than escalate these situations?
Right. Well, again, these are situations where there were guns, where, weapons were involved. Once you come on the scene, there's a weapon involved, like the guy that was running away. Now, I mean, yes, he could stop at any moment, turn around and fire a shot, and you could be hit. So the officers, he wasn't complying, he was running away from the officers. I think what's happening here, though, is like you said, with people having now for a few years now, seeing these young people shot or folks shot where there's no weapon involved, I think everybody at this point is on hyper alert and saying, are these officers right? Now, yeah, when you got an officer, he has to make a decision, a split-second decision at that moment. The other officer, the other situation where the suspect grabbed the woman and held a knife to her throat, one little yank, he could have cut her jugular and could have cut her throat. So the officers acted in a way that I thought was reasonable to say, look, we can't take that chance.
Split-second decision is right, and I cringe whenever I hear Second Amendment advocates argue that if there were more good guys with guns, we'd have fewer bad guys with guns. But you roar up to the scene and you see a guy with a gun, you don't know if he's the good guy or the bad guy, do you?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. If he's not wearing a uniform or something like that, and
clue.
Yeah, there's no clue. And the bottom line is, but you have to take action. And the reality of it is, especially if you tell them to drop it and they don't drop it, they hold it, at that moment, our training says we have a right to fire. If we feel at that moment, individually, if I feel like my life is in threat. Now, when you get a lot of shots fired after that, what normally happens is sort of like a psychological thing. Once an officer fires a weapon, other officers even standing around, somehow there's some type of psychological effect. You believe you're being shot at. And so everybody's firing their weapon. It doesn't take very long to get 10, 15, 20 shots off if 2 or 3 officers are firing quickly.
Everybody else may not realize this. The officer's heart is pounding too.
Yeah.
Matthew Fogg, thank you for your perspective on this difficult situation.
Okay, thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.